Well, what do you do when you hear that 1 in 6 people around the world is malnourished? What do you do when you hear that almost 30,000 people last night died of either a curable disease or because they starved to death? What do you do when every day 14,000 people have contracted AIDS today? If you do nothing, I trust you pay attention because it's time to do something. Christopher Redner is here joining us, and he's got a plan to do something. Welcome to the program, Christopher Redner.
That's right.
Hey, Christopher,
Great
how are
to
you?
have you with us.
Great.
Former television producer and journalist,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, I've got the opportunity to travel around the world and see how most of the world lives, and of course that's a lot of where the world we came from.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so Mr. Wise Guy who's going to save the world.
In 12 minutes or less.
In 12 minutes or less.
Yes.
Tell me what you're going to do to help those in need.
Sure. Well, I think one of the things that's most important is that most of us, when we watch the news every day and we see these big global problems, and you see them every day, big things, and you feel like, I can't do anything about that.
They're
I'm
so
powerless.
far away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're a long ways away. I don't
Right.
understand them.
Right.
I don't know what I can do. It's
Right.
very easy to feel powerless. And then you combine that with the marketing machine that we all live in, where it's
Right.
like, if you just buy this thing, you'll be truly happy. If you just
Right.
have this house, you'll be popular.
Right.
And so when you combine those things together, it's easy to feel like apathetic, maybe even cynical, shut down. It's just
Right.
kind of normal human reaction to say, that's over there,
Their
I'm not going to pay attention to that.
problem.
So I think
Yeah.
the first thing is just to realize there's a lot we can do. There are an amazing number of things that we can do that sound like small things but have a real ripple effect. And that's what World Week is built on. It's built on the idea of putting yourselves in the shoes of the people who are suffering from hunger or disease or human rights problems or abuse or environmental devastation, and just see a little bit what does their life feel like and what are the issues they deal with and what can I do about them. So there's about 20 activities that deal with all of that.
Okay, and they all come under the umbrella of World Week.
Yep.
Tell us how World Week began. Where did the concept originate?
Sure. Well, traveling around the world and realizing that most of the world lives such a different life than I do. I mean, it's
Right.
just radically different. And sometimes, if somebody writing or trying to communicate to people here what life is like, it's so different. Sometimes it's hard to get it across. I mean, it's just, you don't see people here, carrying, huge things on their head because they don't have, any kind of way to transport things other than that. You don't see people, doing the kind of hard labor that you have to see with there, and you don't deal with the same kinds of issues. So realizing that and saying, well, we need to start with some sense of what is this like? What are they dealing with? And that's what the activities were all about, is putting somebody in the situation at least a little bit to see
Right.
what it's like.
Right.
So did you happen upon a village? Did you see these impoverished, and just your heart was tugged? I mean, where did this come from within you?
Sure. Well, I think for me, it's because I know God cares so much about the poor. He says it a lot of times in His Word. I read it all the time. And I care about making God happy. I mean, he's the central figure in my life. I want to
Right.
please Him. I realize these are people He cares about. I'm going, well, with the gifts that you've given me, what can I do? And then, with the gifts that you've given each individual person, what can they do? And start to say, well, maybe what I can do is help people realize there's a lot they can do and help them gain some understanding that would be a start in that direction.
Okay, so give us some details. The what and the when and
Sure.
the why.
Sure. Well, the what is a number of activities that are hands-on. So the signature one that we do is called the Water Walk. And basically there you get a group of people together. They each bring a bucket and they walk a couple miles and they fill it up with water and they start to carry it back to where they started from. If you carry a bucket of water, it's heavy, and you start ditching off a little bit, go like, oh, it's too heavy, and you get back to where you started and you realize that you've gotten less than a bucket of water and you need 4 to maintain basic health. You need 4 buckets a day per person. So if you've got 4 people in your family, that's 8 hours a day. And you go like, yeah, if you're spending 8 hours a day gathering water, what are you not doing? Well, somebody's not going to school. And it's probably one of the girls in the family, because that's the way it is in most of these countries. So that means she's not educated. She's probably not even literate. And there's a direct relationship between literacy rates and birth rates. So you see this big problem, population explosion. You go, I can't do anything about that. But if you can provide water close to home, girls get to stay in school, they have fewer children, you've impacted this huge big problem by addressing a smaller problem. And in the process, you've kind of seen what a little bit of their life is like. So it's a number of activities, there's about 20 of them that they can get involved with. There's a church group or a school group. We do it, the national focus, a couple times a year because we do it in a lot of schools, and like to have one for each part of the school year.
Yeah.
And
Christopher, what kind of response are you getting?
You know, it's been amazing.
When people do this?
Yeah, it's been amazing. It's like an eye opener for them. You know, I've had young people especially go like, this never even occurred to me before.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being in this situation, or I never thought about it that way before, or I didn't realize I could do so much. Especially young people, you know, they often feel powerless. They don't have a lot of money to give. They don't have a vote yet, but you put them in a situation where you've got, say, 100 kids walking through downtown Dallas with buckets of water on their head. They're on the evening news. They're talking about why they're doing what they're doing.
And they never forget that experience.
No, and they impact the whole community. And they're suddenly realizing, hey, I am powerful. I can make a difference. I can get my community engaged in this. I can get people caring about this. And they realize they have a voice. There is something they can do. They can make a difference. And that carries with them their whole life.
Now, when is the World Week again?
In November, and then we do one in the spring as well. You can go to the website and get the exact details. And we have all the materials there, everything you need to do it, a video to get your youth group or class involved with it, or if you want to do it as a family.
Now, you obviously have a great heart for the impoverished, for the needy. But Christopher, maybe you don't understand something here about America.
Let him enlighten you.
Please.
Yeah, please.
Can you do it in 2 minutes?
Please. We drive around the needy.
Yeah.
We avoid the impoverished. We avoid the areas of our city where the crack houses are and where the drug deals are done, and we drive around those areas. We don't drive to them. We avoid them. What is it going to take to change my thinking about how to reach out to them rather than run from them?
Well, I think it takes a number of things. I think, first of all, we need to realize how important these people are to God, right? That has to really come through to us, that these are people that God cherishes. Right. You know, these are people that He gave His life for, and that needs to take a root in a real significant way. Then we have to learn why we don't need to be afraid and what we can do. If you feel like I can't do anything for these people and they're scary to me, why would you go there, right? If you think that there's something I can actually do that will make a difference, that's why most people give up doing things, whether it's giving or getting involved with things, is because they're convinced they can't make a difference. It's not true. And once you get an experience making a difference, you realize, wow, this is great.
Now, you not only have a heart for those who are very needy and those that are impoverished, but you also have a heart for girls who are discriminated against based on their culture. Where did that heart come from?
Well, it's from firsthand experiences, seeing the kind of menial roles that women have. I met women who, you know, their job is to take a sledgehammer and break up rocks into gravel all day long, just pounding away. And the reason that's their job is because that's the only kind of job they can get, because they're not in school, they don't have any kind of education. Women are treated very poorly in a lot of countries around the world, and it's the root cause of a lot of problems. It's not usually the women that are taking us to war, for instance. You know, women, if they're educated, are most likely to make a difference in their community. They're the ones that are going to own the goals of improving the lives for their families, for their communities. When they're engaged and when they have the power to make a difference, when they have the tools and the education, they're the ones that are at the root of it. And that shouldn't be that surprising. You know, we all have a mom who, you know, was making sure that we were taken care of. And that's what every mom wants to do.
And I would assume that part of changing the life of a young girl is to make sure that she's equipped and that make sure that she's knowledgeable, send her to school, and to make sure that within the confines of those years when we're growing, that she needs training. She needs to be in a school. She needs to grow, because therein lies her future.
That's critically important. A lot of countries around the world, only half of the kids are in school and a much smaller percentage of girls. So the more we can do to have girls in school. I've seen some exciting things that churches are doing. I went to a program in Zambia where a bunch of churches were working together, each church doing a grade to offer school where it wasn't available. Each church took on one grade and said, we'll take care of one grade. Again, there's so much that individuals can do, there's so much that the church can do, and starting with making life different for the girls and for women in these cultures would have a huge, huge impact.
Okay, Christopher, that's over there. I'm over here. So November comes, Tell me what I can do.
Sure. Well, you can join a World Week activity or lead one. You can offer yourself as an intern or volunteer. We'll plug you into a charity where you can make a difference. You can, do it with your family, with your church, with your school.
Sure.
Everybody can get involved in some way. There's activities for small groups, for big groups, for individuals. There's always something that you can do, and visit our website. You'll find all the details there. And most importantly, you will make a huge difference, not only in the lives of the people over there, but something will happen in your heart. And that's what's happened with me. That's what happened with so many people when they realize God is working through me. It's an amazing thing to think that God trusted me with His grace and said, hey, here's a portion of my grace. You get to serve it out to other people. You get to be the one who gives my grace to other people. That's a wonderful experience and a life-changing experience.
Can you imagine the impact on our children doing something like this as a family?
Well, World Week is around the corner, and if you want more information about how you can be a participant, not just an observer, but a participant, simply go to the website. You can find Christopher Redner's website by going to familynet.com. We are linked to his website. Simply click on his name. It'll take you right there about how you can get involved in changing the world. You say, I live in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I can't do anything. Yes, you can. You can change your community, which changes your city, which changes your state, which changes somebody else's life. Christopher, thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me here.
We are going to take a commercial break. We'll be back with some closing thoughts to today's program.
We will.
Come on back and join us for those.
Don't go away.